Welcome to Castles to Cauldrons, where every journey starts with a little bit of magic.
Welcome to Castles to Cauldrons. I'm your host, Jason. I'm here with Rachel, Terry, and Micah. Today we're just going to have some fun, but we got some news that we're going to start off with that Disney released this past week that we want to talk about at the beginning of the show, and then we're going to go into the Christmas season for a little bit. The biggest news that we kind of caught us off guard was that Dinosaur is going to be open all of next year. As we talked about before, Disney announced that Dinosaur is going to be turned over to the Indiana Jones ride in Animal Kingdom. So we figured that it'd be closing soon, but a year staying open.
Yeah, I was very shocked at that as well. Yeah, because I'm going to be in World on Monday, and I was going to go and ride it because I didn't ride it last month when I was there with the kids. At least I don't have to rush to ride it, and there's, it'll be good. But then it just makes me think that they're like going to prolong like the additions.
That was my question. I was like, are they going to does that give us an idea that everything's going to take a longer time to build, or does that say, hey, basically they're just going to like change the cars and change some scenery and video, and it's going to be the ride itself, it can't undergo major changes if it's going to be a quick turnover. And if they're leaving it up all year, that leads me to believe, like you said, that it's going to be a while before they finish that side of Animal Kingdom.
So my theory to it is that they're going to try to get Encanto, that part of the area, kind of built up and going in a fast pace, maybe even finished. I don't know how hard it's going to be to build what they're building. If you close Dinosaur, you're closing a ride that has a 2,400 person per hour attraction. So that takes out a lot of people that can't come into Animal Kingdom a day. If you have something new coming in pretty fast, I think that is kind of the way they're wanting to do, is like a little bit of time in between one opening and one being closed.
So they can funnel the guests appropriately.
Right. At the same time, I don't have the date, but they're closing It's Tough to Be a Bug at some point to open up the new show by the end of next year too. So you're going to have, if you have Dinosaur offline and a Tough to Be a Bug, I know they're not hugely popular attractions when it comes to a lot of crowds going that way, but that's still numbers that go into the theme park attendance that they can say, hey, we can fit this many people into the park. You take those out, they can't bring that amount of people in.
Both of those are not must do for us in those parks, but we end up doing both of those. Like you said, if they close them both at the same time, what would you do?
And my trip would say the same. I don't ever do those.
We do those when everything else has a line or on that side. Tough to Be a Bug's always a nice place to sit and cool off for a little bit. Not a have to, but there's never a wait. Or like we had younger kids, we would do those, or at least Tough to Be a Bug while everyone's riding Everest over and over again, or things like that.
And you also think there's not too many attractions in that park as it is. And all the really popular attractions usually have really long waits. So having something that's there that can kind of push people through is a positive. Heading over to the West Coast, Red Car Trolley is closing on February 9th. Not a huge thing for me.
Now, as someone who's never been to land, explain to me, like I'm 5 years old, what the Red Car Trolley is.
You remember like the cable cars in San Francisco and stuff? That's what this is. And it's just goes around the front part of California Adventure.
Okay.
It's now only really going through the street to Hollywood Land, and then there's a circle in front of Carthay. It just does that little loop. It used to go back toward Bugs Land, but they closed that off once it became the Avengers campus. Closing Red Car Trolley is to build the new e-ticket attraction for Avengers, because the barn for the trolley is backstage in that area. There would be nowhere to do maintenance on these things or for them to go at night in the rain or anything like that. That's a positive thing. We're getting the e-ticket sooner.
Yeah, I'm not going to miss it.
I was going to say, is this something that's going to be missed, or is it just we do it because it's there, but if it's gone, no one remembers it in 10 years kind of thing?
I like the ambiance of it. Like seeing it go down the street is kind of nice, but at the same time, it's a big trolley going down the street.
I kind of feel like it has that same feel of like Main Street vehicles. Like they're cool, but I'm probably not going to wait in line or go out of my way to get on it.
Exactly.
We might do it in a couple of weeks just to say we've done it, because I don't think I've ever done it before. But just to say, hey, we've done it. It's there. Yeah, it won't be missed by me. Like in the long run, I'll get over it. But while we're on the West Coast, Disney did announce that the 70th anniversary for Disneyland, which starts next year on May 16th. It's a lot of repeats. Disneyland is getting Paint the Night Parade, which is amazing.
I love that parade.
I am very happy for this. And then the Wondrous Journey fireworks, which that was an okay show. The Better Together Parade is going to come back to California Adventure. The only new show we have at the moment will be the Disneyland's that's going to celebrate on Disneyland 70th is the World of Color Happiness, which is going to feature characters from Inside Out. We also get the Walt animatronic in the Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln show that they'll turn over to whatever the name is. I can't remember. What are y'all's thoughts on the... Oh, I know Terry has a lot to say on this one.
My only thought is, see, you said it had a lot of repeats, so I don't... But would it have been better since Disney World, infamously, they celebrate things more than a year, like anniversaries and birthdays. Would it be better if they waited to 75th? And since that's kind of more of a milestone and then brought more, would pack a bigger punch maybe? Or, because are they going to turn around and do 75th anniversary a year and a half after they finish 70th? Because then they, the specialness I feel like starts to wear after a while, because then it's always an occasion. So is it an occasion if it's always an occasion?
Well, I think with Disneyland, they do something big every summer anyway. Like this past year was the Pixar Fest again. So this year and this runs through next summer. So even to your point, in 2 more summers, I do think that you'll get a 75th anniversary hoopla, which will be bigger and better, hopefully. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm disappointed by repeats. The Better Together Parade was new last year, so yeah, they have to use it again. Paint the Night is a no-brainer. People want that every year. I'm just glad they kind of didn't say, hey, we're going to bring back Main Street Electrical when they have the dust on Paint the Night. And I wasn't really loving Wondrous Journeys. It was a good show, but nothing to write home about.
I just think Paint the Night is the win all the way around.
Yeah, I'll plan like 6 trips just to go watch Paint the Night. The Big Mac coming through. But that's all the big news. The Walt show, by the way, it's called Walt Disney: A Magical Life, and that opens on May 17th with the start of the celebration too. So this weekend, me and my family had the chance to go down to Disney World to do the Christmas parties at Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. We're going to start with Jollywood, since no one here but me has been to Jollywood Nights, which is over at Hollywood Studios. It is a hard ticket event. You can get into the park at 7 p.m. The party officially starts at 7:30. If you go in early, you can get the last showing of Fantasmic. They move it up a little bit just so you can see it. And then you have free reign of the park after that. It's pretty awesome when it comes to wait times, being like 5 minutes for a lot of stuff. You get PhotoPass included in this ticket this year. So any pictures you take, whether on ride or just with characters, they're free to download. I didn't try any of the special food. I don't even know what the special food was. I have a 3-year-old or 4-year-old that is very picky, so we didn't wait in line for anything besides for hot dogs. What are y'all's questions about it?
Was it worth it?
I would say it's worth it as a adult. And if you have kids that love characters, Travis loves seeing the characters. The night before we went to the Very Merry Christmas Party, he didn't want to look at cameras with characters. But we saw Bert and the Penguin from Mary Poppins, and he went running and hugged and danced and all that stuff. He talked to Scrooge. He went running for Mickey and Minnie. He talked to the Green Army Man. So it was very good for him to be able to run and do the stuff that he felt comfortable doing. And they have a lot of those rarer characters. So like Duffy, Son of Duffy was out. He was a 50-minute wait. He was probably the longest character wait we saw. We did not see him though. Then they have Phineas and Ferb. Doctor Strange was walking around. And I think the Mandalorian is out in Galaxy's Edge. We didn't make it back there. So there's a lot of characters to see. And if that's a goal for you, that's a very, very good reason to go to Jollywood.
Does it feel more adult than like Mickey's Very Merry? Like I would think it definitely is probably more geared towards adults than kids.
Yes. Just with the being more of an alcohol type park where they have the bars every 30 feet or so, it does feel a little bit more geared toward the adults because they're walking around with, their mixed drinks in their hands or their beer in their hand. And they make specialty alcohol drinks for this party. And the entertainment kind of gears a little bit more toward that when it comes to like the dance parties. The Latina dance party is a little bit more high intensity when it comes to kids or people dancing and whatnot. Kids aren't going to dance so much of that stuff. The Pixar dance club, it's a disco, I think. Travis enjoyed that. He went back there and danced for a little bit. We didn't even go back to the Tip Top, which, is very jazz feel. So it's not going to keep a kid's attention so much. We didn't go into the lounge at Brown Derby, so I don't even know what that. I think that's still a jazz type feel. So I wouldn't imagine that keeping kids' attention too well either.
As far as like performances, they have an ice skating performance, correct? But like no parade or anything like that for specialty things.
They don't have a parade. Glisten is the ice skating show in front of the Chinese theater. We didn't stand and watch it, but they're singing, they're talking, and they're ice skating and using props. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive. So I can't do it. The fact
keep ice in Florida, I mean, that's pretty impressive itself.
That's what I was fixing to say. I was like, I don't even know how to do the ice. It's Disney magic. It's a small little rink. It's just on the stage in front of the Chinese theater. So, that's not a huge stage. So it's cool to see what they're doing on it. The other two shows that are ongoing through the night are the Nightmare Before Christmas sing-along and then Disney Holidays in Hollywood, which Kermit and Miss Piggy host.
Did you go to that one?
What do you think?
I mean, did you ride Muppet Vision or did you watch much Muppet Vision 3D while you were at the party?
Yes, that's the whole reason I bought the tickets.
How many times did you go watch the show?
Just the once. We only watched Muppet Vision once, and we only watched the Holidays in Hollywood once. Travis really didn't like the Holidays in Hollywood. He like, Daddy, this is too long. So it was, and it did drag a little bit. Tiana comes out and sings, and you don't really know who she is until she starts singing because she's in more of a jazz outfit than her princess outfit or her adventurer outfit that they've debuted that you're really getting to know. Belle's in her red dress from Enchanted Christmas. Mickey and Minnie come out and do a little thing. It wasn't great. I wouldn't wait in line to go see it again. If it was coming on, I'd walk in there. But seeing
because
Mickey,
they do that one at the same theater as Beauty and the Beast, right?
yes, and it wasn't full. Like there was pretty empty, and we got there pretty close to time of show.
So it's like one of the main benefits of going to something like this, like just very little or no wait times for rides and attractions. Is that one of the main things that to look forward to?
We rode Toy Story twice, Toy Story Midway Mania twice because it was a 5-minute wait. I think it was posted 15 the first time, but we didn't wait.
Yeah.
When we walked out of the park, it was a 5-minute wait for Rise of Resistance. So if we would have been walking that way, we would have gone to it, but it was like 12:29 or 1:29 when we were walking out. It's at the end of the party.
That's late, especially with a kid.
Travis stayed up the entire time.
Bless his heart.
Like he went running, and he fell asleep as soon as we walked out of the security gate. The line for All Star Sports was so long, we just waited. We got a minivan.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be easier for us because we can just flop him down in the car seat, let him sleep instead of us like hoping somebody gives up a chair in the bus and one of us having to hold him or something like that.
Were people dressed up glamour? Because I feel like that was last year's where like people like kind of got glitzed up. Was it the same way or not really?
We walked in and there was maybe like 20, 30 people dressed up in the 20s type outfits.
Oh, like a flapper.
Yeah. And the guys were wearing like suits and looked good. And there I am in my, raggedy t-shirt and whatever.
You're in theme park attire.
Yeah.
Like, almost in flip-flops. But I looked at Bethany, and the biggest thing I can compare this to is probably HHN, because, a lot of people go out for HHN. They get dressed up and whatnot. So I do think this was really cool, being able to see people put that effort into getting dressed and uppity for Jollywood.
Would you do it again?
I wouldn't go out on my way. I wouldn't make a special trip for it.
I just feel like for $179 and like no special parade or no special fireworks gosh, they should at least like give you like a free quick service meal or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it just a couple of sing-alongs and dance parties.
You have a fireworks show that used to be part of the free, not free. It's part of the park ticket. You have Jingle Bell, Jingle Bam, that they used to put on pre-COVID every Christmas, and now they've put it behind this park ticket event, which if it follows suit with how Walt Disney World does with Magic Kingdom, they start showing the Minnie's Wonderful Christmas fireworks. They show that throughout, starting on the after the last Christmas party instead of Happily Ever After. So they might do that during the Christmas time itself, that Christmas week. I wouldn't make a special trip. And they gave us champagne flavored marshmallows on the way out.
That's gross.
Yeah, you get an ornament over at the Very Merry, but you get 6 champagne flavored marshmallows in a cute little box because they were handing them out. I'm like, oh, we get a Muppet ornament. This is awesome because the box has Kermit and Miss Piggy on it and a wreath. I'm like, yes. And then you open it up when we got home and it was marshmallows.
Like,
So it was no bueno.
In your opinion, what could they do to make it better? It seems to me that like Disney keeps adding more. Like, you know, if you want to jump to the front of the line, you got to pay this much more. And then everything's a ticketed event. But if they're not holding up their end of the bargain of making things worthwhile to be a pay to play, you know, kind of thing, like, in your opinion, what would have made it essentially $200 a person worth it in Disney terms? We know $200 in Disney terms is not a lot of money, honestly.
Well, I like the idea of it being the 20s, 30s era of Hollywood and the golden years of filmmaking type thing. But I don't think the park lends itself well to a party.
I was thinking that too. It's when I said something about parade, I was like, but how would you do a?
Well, they used to have the parade through there anyway. It was, you know, they had the March of the First Order for a while and all that stuff. There was a Pixar parade years ago. So they designed it to do that. It just it doesn't work anymore with what the park is. And even to that, if you want to make it better, move it to a different park. I think that's I hate to say, move it to Epcot where the Festival of Holidays is going on. And a lot of that stuff works better at night. But if you make a hard ticket event for Epcot that has a lot of the same stuff in it, because a Latin dance party would work great in Mexico.
Yeah.
Not in Disney Junior Playground or whatever, the Disney Junior Live area.
I think it's also like Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Like you get free like hot chocolate and things like that and snacks or like cookies. And they have just one thing you kind of get handed as you walk out, like one little special treat or something as you're leaving.
Champagne
marshmallows.
Right, and it's marshmallows, like not even like cookies. Like they could do something like not exactly like giving out cookies, but some sort of snacks. Like make it more similar to like an after hours.
Out of the Very Merry party, you got an ornament, and it would be a perfect year if they would do like a Muppets Christmas ornament. Since they're about to take Muppets out of Hollywood Studios, they could have done.
It's not leaving Hollywood Studios; they're just retheming Rock and Roller Coaster.
If we keep it in Hollywood Studios, to fix it, to make it better, I really just don't know. Like, I don't know how you do free food, free drinks in Hollywood Studios because they don't have the accommodations like Magic Kingdom does for people to go in and out of to pick that stuff up.
Maybe make it cheaper since they don't have offerings like that.
Either that or bundle it with a half-day ticket to Hollywood Studios. You go, hey, with $179, you can come in at lunch and enjoy the park, and then you stay the rest of the day. Or premium seating for Fantasmic if you come in at 6. Something that's a little bit more but
enticing.
To me, Hollywood Studios feels darker at night too than the rest of the. Like, especially down in Star Wars and it's not with kids especially, it's hard to walk around at night. Like in Magic Kingdom, in Epcot, I just feel like there's lighting and you can kind of orient yourself. But some parts of Hollywood Studios get really dark to me at night. And it's kind of over here than over there. It doesn't flow. And I guess that goes along with what you said. It's not really built for a party mode. It's all kind of operating in and of itself in separate locations.
And I like Sunset. Sunset's great because of Tower Terror and how they're doing the projections on that. They don't do anything in Galaxy's Edge that I know of. I know they sell holiday. What is it? Life Day is what it's called, and they don't decorate or anything. It's just Life Day merchandise that's back there.
Which I feel like they could do an easy thing with their blue and green milk. Maybe I could do like a blue and green eggnog or.
Okay, I love eggnog, and that was disgusting.
Eggnog, and I don't like blue and green milk, so all of it's disgusting.
So Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, what are y'all's overall thoughts? We've all been to the party at least once in the past 5-6 years. There have been changes in between the years we've all gone, but overall, what do y'all think about it? Is it worth the time for us to get a ticket when you're down there during this time?
100%. I love Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. I think it's worth every penny. Well, maybe not every penny, but I think it's worth the price tag. I love that they have 2 parades because I think it gives people time to be able to do other things and you can still see the parade. Fireworks. The fireworks are not my fave, but the parade definitely. So I just enjoy it. I think the food selection is good. I think, having Jack and Sally out and just having those characters that you normally don't see in the other photo ops.
I agree. I think Very Merry Christmas Party is a very, it's worth the price of the ticket, in my opinion, where you get the free hot chocolate, apple cider, eggnog. You get different cookies from different places around that you can go get it from. And there's never a line at those places. You walk in and they just hand you stuff. And you can only get one at a time, but you can go in as many times as you want. I agree that the fireworks are good. Like, they're big fireworks. Like, they're really big and they're fun to watch, but there's not like emotion behind them, like wishes or happily ever after. I mean, they're just really fun to watch. And besides the Boo to You parade, I think it's one of the better parades. I really enjoy the parade and I love it. We didn't get to watch it this time because my son is more into rides than he is parades. So we took that time during the second parade and we rode Tron and Mine Train, and we probably only waited 7 minutes to ride Mine Train and maybe 15 to ride Tron, which is another perk of the party. The wait times are a lot lower. So we noticed that. And also the park is not as crowded. Like, we got there. I guess that's another thing. You can get into the park at 4:00 with your ticket. The party starts at 7 and officially the park closes at 6. So they do a very good job of getting those people out and checking your wristbands when you come in. I know there were many times we were walking through spots and they're like, wristbands, and we had to hold our hands up so that they could see the wristband before we could even walk any further. Getting in at 4:00, like, I mean, you're in the park for a long time. If you get in at 4:00 and you stay until the party's over, you have a lot of time in there. So I think it's definitely worth it if you wanted to take that time. And if you don't have as much time to do like full park days and stuff, you could use that as like, well, let's go get some stuff done that we want to do at Magic Kingdom. I think it's a really good add-on. We did it one year on our way back from a cruise. So we stopped and did Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party on our way back. Like, we left, I think we went out of Miami, drove up, got it to our hotel, and then did Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party that night, and then drove home the next day. So I think it's one of those, like, we got our Disney fix in while we were there, but then also came home with a whole lot of cookies. I mean, I think we brought home like a whole backpack full of cookies that time.
I think it's nice that you can get in with the ticket at 4:00 because I have clients that will take it as a rest day or the pool day or Disney Springs day, and then they'll have that for their evening time and they get a lot of hours. And like you said, because 4 to midnight, it's a decent amount of time.
That's essentially what we did. That was our rest day. When I say rest day, I spent my time at Disney Springs, and they just did the Christmas tree stroll that day. Like, it was the first day of it. So, like, we did that, and then we got to the park. We didn't get there at 4 because, I mean, most of us have seen those lines that you get into when you get there. We got there, like, at 4:30, and there was, like, no line to get into the party. Like, we went straight through, scanned our magic bands, got our wristbands, and then they take you down that little side corridor down beside Main Street where they have like Snope happening. And this year they had some people on stilts, like some snowflake people. I don't know what they were. They had a DJ. Did they have the DJ when you were there, Jason, going down that side street?
Just not, it was sprinkling when we walked in. So they didn't have any of the stilt walkers there, but the DJ was there.
They also had some characters that were there, like not like Disney characters that were there for pictures.
We had the gingerbread men.
Gingerbread men. I was trying to remember if it was gingerbread men or something else. And then that's when they hand you a really pretty keepsake that's an ornament. and it was really pretty. I don't know. Like, I know you're technically every person gets one, but like my family, I don't need 3. Like, I didn't need them to hand me, my husband, and my son all ornaments because we don't need that many. But it's really nice to do that. And then,
you can sell them on eBay for the price of the ticket.
I just hung mine up from like 2 years ago on my tree, the ornament.
No, it's a really pretty ornament. It's actually like a really nice, heavy ornament too. It's a nice
and it's
ornament.
like has the dates on it. Like, I think it's nice. They should have that for Jollywood.
Yeah, they should have some sort of keepsake like that.
The box is for the marshmallows.
So what is some of the special entertainment that we have at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party?
So you had the dance parties. That's in Cosmic Rays, which is the Disney Junior focused. We didn't go in there.
It's so loud. We got food from there. It is so loud.
We got food before the party started there.
We should have.
And then
we can talk about things we can do better at a party. I'll go over that.
We did do the cookie right there, and I think it was hot chocolate. Mm-hmm. So we could hear all that coming through. And Travis didn't know any of the characters. Those Doc McStuffins, I think, was one of them, and Timon.
I think Vampirina. No, maybe
she might have been
not
Vampirina.
Vampirina. Yeah, some of the Disney Junior ones.
And then Stitch does a dance party in Tomorrowland on the stage outside of Space Mountain.
Isn't that where Buzz Lightyear usually meets out there?
He meets
over that way
between Carousel Progress and Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin against that back wall.
We did not do either of the dance parties. My son is now too embarrassed to dance in front of people. He used to break dance just in front of everybody all the time, but not anymore. So we did that. I'm trying to think of the special things. So we saw the fireworks, which is Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time fireworks. People lined up very early for that. Like, there was definitely people lined up super early for that first parade and then for the fireworks. We had someone with us that was in a wheelchair, so we were in a different area for viewing. So they had like a special roped off area for people that are in wheelchairs and those mobility devices. So we were in there, and we had to get there early because it did fill up and they were turning people away by the time that the fireworks were starting. But we enjoyed that. We saw some characters. One of the fun things about the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, along with like Jollywood, is you have special characters. But one of the things at Magic Kingdom is at Princess Fairy Tale Hall, some of the princesses also meet with their princes, which you don't usually get to meet. So Rapunzel had Flynn Rider, and then Cinderella had Prince Charming. We saw both of them. We didn't get in line for Snow White, but she also had her prince with her as well that we saw. But Ariel did not have Eric with her because we met Ariel. She did not have him.
We did Anna and Elsa, and then we did Cinderella, her prince, Prince Charming, Flynn, and Rapunzel. We saw Aurora outside at the castle wall with Prince Philip, and we didn't see Ariel or Prince Eric at their meet and greet location. So
some of them were hard to find. Like, we just kind of happened upon Ariel. Like, we weren't looking for her, and she was just kind of against the railing towards, so between Under the Sea, like Little Mermaid Ride, and Gaston's Tavern. She was kind of along the walkway there, but it wasn't super obvious other than there was like a light for the PhotoPass photographer.
Which they had signs pointing to directions for photo ops when we went. So where Ariel was supposed to be, there was a sign pointing in her direction, but it looked like it was pointing into the queue, and we didn't walk up into the queue.
Well, I wonder if it was raining, if they did move people. Did they move things?
Because we didn't get to watch the parade because we stood outside waiting for it for the 8:30. We just happened to be on Main Street, and I was like, let's just stop and wait. And it started pouring down rain. So they did the rainy day, Christmas Day cavalcade, and we saw that. And then Travis didn't want to wait again, so we went and rode rides. And whenever you got to see the parade.
How long will you wait for the parade?
64 hours. I love soldiers.
Yeah, I waited like an hour and 20 at what's the Halloween one?
booty.
Mickey's
Mickey's not so scary.
Yeah. As soon as like the fireworks were over, we like jumped in and we got a spot on Main Street in front of Starbucks because the door stays open and like the cool air comes in.
Oh,
Out.
that's smart.
The positive for our trip was that a cold front had just come through Florida. Like all that rain was a cold front. So it felt like Christmas.
Oh, that's nice.
So you didn't want to stand in front of the air conditioned doors. 'Cause
Yeah.
We're getting cold already.
So it was cold and then you had like the snow.
We didn't have snow that night.
Because of the rain.
Oh.
The rain.
Oh.
That's the
And
best part.
I was very disappointed because I was going all the way back to the beginning of this conversation. We made the trip down that day. That Friday, we drove down, checked into the room, and went straight into the Christmas party. So we're telling Travis, hey, you're going to see some snow tonight. And he's like, yay, yay, yay. And then we walked into the back street and there was no snow. And then we waited on Main Street. There was no snow. And then when we were walking out, there was no snow.
Can you explain Snope for those who might not know? They might.
So it looks like snow,
It's
but it's soap.
Yeah. It's soap bubbles
Yeah.
that are blown.
And if they get in your eye, it really hurts. So don't
But
look
it's
up.
fantastic. It really is.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
If you're like a
because they have
tank
it-
top and shorts, it's nice for it to like snow.
But if you want to see Snope without going to a party, you can go to Hollywood Studios when they don't have a party because they always have. Don't they always have it down on Hollywood Boulevard?
Yes, whenever they do the Tower of Terror shows, they start snow or right after this, like in between, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's they have it down to a science, so it's not like when you go to your hometown Christmas whatever, and they have snow machines that are blowing the snow, and it's big clusters of snow just falling down. It's actual. It looks like it's snowflakes falling. So it's very magical. It feels great with the cold weather. It makes us feel even better.
Makes it even more magical.
Yeah, it's like, how can Disney make it snow? They control the weather.
They
Now-
do. Of course they do. What time did you guys get to the park to get into the party?
About the same time you did, about 4:30.
And I mean, I feel like that's a good time. Like there was people because we went to the very first party of the year, so we were there for the very first one. I don't know if I would recommend being there for the very first party. Very heavy on like the Disney influencers and the YouTubers. Like we did see a lot of people who want to be influencers and YouTubers with their little cameras walking around. So I felt like there was a lot more of that. Like a lot of people during the fireworks record anyway, but I felt like people with like actual bigger cameras and stuff trying to set up on tripods, trying to catch the fireworks. So we went and it was warm. Like it was in the 80s, like 85 during the day. And at night it got down into like 75. So it was definitely warm while we were there. And the crowds were like, I don't know if it sold out that night, but when we left, like we stayed till almost the very end and we tried to get a minivan. I got kicked out of the Lyft app 4 times. Like I waited almost an hour just trying to get one because Kova fell asleep in the stroller and I didn't want to have to get him out of the stroller. So I finally gave up on getting a minivan, walked to the bus stop, and I saw that All-Star Music, their bus was pulling up, and where our room was at Sports was on that end, and there was hardly a line for that one. So I said, you know what? I'll have a seat. I can have a sleeping kid in my lap and get on the bus, and that's what we ended up doing. So I didn't even get back to the room till almost 2 a.m. with him.
Oh, wow.
Because of just how busy it was and people trying to leave and there was not enough minivans. I mean, there were multiple people that were standing there as long as I was or longer that ended up just walking away because we couldn't get one.
We looked at it to go to it. We were staying at All Star Sports, Rachel's favorite resort, and we decided that, hey, we'll do a minivan. And it was a 40-minute wait to get the minivan. And I was like, well, the bus is going to be here in 20 minutes. So on the way back, it's like, well, let's just do a minivan now. And because Travis was asleep then.
Mm-hmm.
And it was another 50-minute wait for a minivan to come back. And I was
I
like,
couldn't even, it wouldn't even get past the point for me saying, it would just said searching, and it would search and search and search for that 15 minutes and then kick me out and I'd have to do it again.
now I'll say that I went on the day after Thanksgiving. Usually from my side of stuff that I've seen, they've never offered a party on Thanksgiving week. So to have one that Friday night after Thanksgiving was rare, and that's why we actually changed directions. We were going to go up to Tennessee, to Dollywood for Christmas. to celebrate the Christmas season. And then when they did that party, I was like, well, we'll go down to Florida and do this Christmas party instead. So it was a great alternative.
I think it's great. I feel like if you've never been, you need to go at least one time because it's definitely a really good experience. I do like when we went in 2019, I felt like the cookies were better than what they are now because we didn't get to make it to all the cookie stops. And we ended up mostly only getting the cookies that were like sugar cookies with the icing on them that I feel like you can go get at the grocery store. So that's the ones we got. The hot chocolate's fine. Like they give it to you and it's usually not too hot to drink. You can go ahead and drink it. The eggnog was okay. I'm not an eggnog person. So like it was fine. I never made it anywhere that had apple cider. I wish I would have made it over to Frontierland to get the cookie from there because I think that one had like pretzels and stuff in it. But I never made it over there because Kova was just more ride focused and the lines are shorter. So I felt like we spent more time standing in line for rides because there wasn't lines as much for them as the other stuff.
We did the cookies at the end of the night. And we pretty much did the same thing. We did a sugar cookie, which I was surprised that they didn't give us they used to give the Santa cookie at the very beginning. Mm-hmm. And they didn't hand that out this year. And it's all sponsored by Cheryl's Cookies, if I remember right. So they're all by the same person now. I really wish they would have done Gideon's cookies. I think that would have been fun. But we did the Christmas tree sugar cookie at Cosmic Rays. The gingerbread cookie was at Gaston's. Mm-hmm.
That's where eggnog was as well.
And I had everybody's eggnog because Bethany doesn't like it. Travis doesn't like it. So I had 3 shots of eggnog. Non-alcoholic because it's Magic Kingdom. Mm-hmm. And then it was the caramel pretzel chocolate chip cookie that was in Frontierland with apple cider.
I wish we would have made it over there.
But we only did one trip through all the cookies. Travis didn't want any of the cookies for some reason. Now he does.
Of course.
But the hot chocolate was fine. Like you said, I enjoyed it. It was warm enough. It was cold enough outside where you wanted something. Mm-hmm. The hot chocolate was warm enough not to like make you start sweating.
Was the apple cider good?
I don't like apple cider to begin with, so I didn't even drink it.
I know I wish I would have got to that. And then we did not do the smart things. I want to say, don't do this. Don't eat during the party. If you get in there in that like 4 to 7 time, get food then. That's the smart thing. What we did in that time was when we got in the park, Kova wanted to ride rides, of course, because that's like he's at that age now where he's kind of aging out of wanting to meet the characters and more into like being more ride focused. Being there at that time is really good because wait times are lower. They don't look lower because when we got in line for Peter Pan, it said 45 minutes and we waited 7. Like you could look at that queue and just see that there was no one in it. So we got into that queue. Haunted Mansion said 35 minutes. We waited 10 minutes. Like the waits were good. And then we got on Pirates and we walked straight on. So kind of in that time frame, we rode a bunch of rides. So I think that's a good thing if you want to do that, or you can eat before the party starts. So you're not wasting party time eating.
So the fun thing, we did Peter Pan's twice. Travis loves Peter Pan. He didn't before this, but he rode it once and then he wanted to ride it the rest of the night over and over again. Rachel and Terry, y'all have been fairly quiet. What are your all's overall enjoyments, disenjoyments of the Very Merry Party?
No, I don't do like the treats. So that is something that I definitely missed out on. More of like, I want to get on the rides when they're less of a wait time and, just watching that parade. Like, I feel like I only go to the parties for like the parades because like that's just the draw for me, or the parades, either at the Halloween or the Christmas party. So I'm just not like a big snacky person either. So I think it just, depends.
I'm not a big ticketed event person. I'll try anything once, but this is what I've always really liked. A lot of times with the ticketed events, the juice is not worth the squeeze per se. Like it's enough to do it once and say you've done it and to experience it, but it's not like a must do every time I go. I feel that way about dessert parties and things like that, just because with the snacky thing, like you just said, my family's not a big snacky person. So a lot of the times once we've met those characters at dessert parties, My kids don't eat anything. My husband and I we don't. And then it's just kind of
And then we have the peanut allergy with my son.
yeah,
So it's kind of why I avoid the snacks.
yeah. So it's just. But the Very Merry Party and the Not So Scary Party are two that I would do again. So they rank very highly on the list of even like you said, even if you don't do the snacky things, you've got the shows, the parades, the fireworks. You've got, like she said, she couldn't even stop for snacks, Micah, because her son wanted to ride rides because there weren't any lines and all of that stuff. And the snow on Main Street. If you've never experienced it, you've got to experience it because it just feels so surreal. It feels like Christmas time in Florida because it's hot, but there's snow and everything's decorated like Christmas and it's beautiful. And I just don't know how anyone could be upset or in a bad mood or in any way with any negative emotion. My husband doesn't understand how like I'm chaotic all the time with it. And like I get on Main Street in Disney World with like 100,000 other people. And all of a sudden, like everything is just calm and cool and collect. And I was like, it's the smells. That's where they put like crack in there. But it's worse at Christmas because everything's good. Like I don't know how anyone has any bad vibes. It's just you can get on any ride you want. You see cool parades. You see cool fireworks. It's snowing. Mickey and Minnie are in different costumes. You've got different characters. So as far as worth the price, I would say the Very Merry Christmas Party is right up there with, even if you only do it once, because I know it's an added expense to an already maybe expensive trip to some people. It's well worth it. Your kids will love it. I've never heard any complaints as far as that one goes.
I'm going to say I would even do this one more so. It gets me more so in the spirit of what it's going to than the Halloween party. Man,
Yeah.
because this one's so limited. Like you have November to December. You don't have but 2 months of this party, whereas the Halloween party you start going in August, and it's kids are still
150
going to
degrees
school.
outside with
Yeah.
200% humidity, and it's like I want to feel like fall and Halloween, but I don't.
Yeah. So even if you start going 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, you're starting to get in that Christmas spirit a little bit more. You're not really getting into the Halloween spirit in August. I mean, I don't really get in the Halloween spirit until, the end of August because of HHN. But the trick or treating and that type of stuff, I really feel more toward October. Mm-hmm. So I think the Christmas parties are really worth more than the Halloween party.
And I'm not a big Jack and Sally fan because I'm not a big Nightmare Before Christmas person. But like my cousin, she's huge into that. And so anyone who's into that, they love that part of the Very Merry Christmas Party, of being able to see them. And it's not a Halloween, quote unquote, thing. But they, like you said, they can see different characters and different things that they normally, because my kids are like Micah's where they don't really care about characters right now in their life.
The only character he wanted to take his picture with was Aladdin because he's a boy.
Oh, mine is Stitch.
If we would have found Stitch, he would have done that because he also took a picture with Figment and he's creepy. So
I will say I will end our very merry conversation with, if you feel like you don't want to spend the money on the party, there is an opportunity to see the parade and the fireworks for this particular part because they do that. I think it's like the day after the last party, or maybe it's a couple of days after. They switch out the 3:00 parade for the Very Merry Christmas parade or Christmas time parade, and then the fireworks go from Happily Ever After to Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time. Those two things of the party, the free cookies, all that stuff will not come over to actual operating hours, but the parade is well worth the watch, even if it's during the day. I don't think it snows on Main Street during the parade at 3:00 either. That's going to do it for us today on this episode. Next episode will be about the Disney Treasure. We have some great agents that will be going on a preview cruise on it. Rachel being one of them, who will be in the Aladdin room. So she'll be able to harp about all the nice things and hidden things that are Aladdin. So hopefully we'll have a bunch of agents to talk about that. If you want to get with us about booking your Christmas time vacation, then you can go to www.magicaltravel.com. You can mention any of us on this podcast, or we'll just get you with one of the great agents at Magical Travel. And until the next time, we'll see you later.